Hello, welcome to Let's Talk About It. Somebody's got to say it. I'm your girl Lavonda. Today's episode 26, and I want to talk about don't let church hurt block your blessings. This is going to be a touchy subject, and I'm going to say some things a lot of people don't like to say, a lot of people don't like to address. But however, whatever God gives me to say, I'm going to say it. And remind you, no topic that I talk about is directly targeted toward any group of people, any person, anything, except helping people to be free, helping people to stop running, helping people to learn how to protect their peace and know where their safe haven really is. Now, a lot of people, they say they don't go to church or they left the church because they got hurt in the church. The truth of the matter is, the church didn't hurt you. It may have been some people or some things that were said that may have hurt you. But let me remind you, if someone in the church has wronged you unwarrantedly, then I suggest before you leave without consulting God, please talk to your leaders first. And I know a lot of times when it comes to churches that are family oriented, it may be hard because you don't want to address topics concerning someone and their families or anything like that. But let me tell you, when your leader has your best interests at heart, they're not going to care who it is. They will address the topic rather than lose a member that they see that doesn't bother anyone. Now, once you address the situation and nothing is done about it, pray, talk to God. Don't just let somebody run you out the church and then say church hurt. Because like I said, the whole entire church didn't hurt you. It may have been a person, some people, or things that were said, or whatever. But mind you, sometimes God will plant you in a place where He wants you to flourish and grow. And sometimes you're going to have to go through things that'll hurt you, or deal with people that'll hurt you. But never allow that person or people or whatever to make you tuck your tail and run. Because the word tells you that God will prepare a table before you in the presence of your enemies. Remember that. Keep that in the forefront of your mind. I know it hurts. Trust me, I've been through it. I've seen a lot of this going on. The next thing I want to say to you, be mindful of who you talk to. Make sure it's someone that you can trust so that you don't wind up with that church hurt feeling. Because everybody you talk to that says they're your friends, they are not. And people will spread your business faster than a speeding bullet. So if you know that you only told one person something and other people come and ask you about it, or other people begin to look at you trying to figure things out, you better trust and believe, and you can stand on this, and I stand 10 toes down with it. That person you thought you could trust, they went and opened their mouth and they told somebody else. And I'm telling you, your story will be changed before it gets to the second person. Because that's people's nature, to add their own forte on everything instead of telling it how it is or how it was. When you know you're on the right training ground, you're going to grow and you're going to see change and you're going to see elevation in your life. And there are going to be people that are literally in the church that will be jealous of you. And they will try to block you on every hand because they want to stunt your growth instead of seeing you grow. And I know that will hurt because the very people you expected to build you up are tearing you down or telling you what they feel when God told you one thing. It's a hurting feeling. But guess what? You got to be focused on what God told you to do, what God is leading you. Stop allowing church hurt to block your blessings. That's why it's important to have a relationship with God for yourself, so that you can go to Him for yourself. You can decree and declare over your own life for yourself. It don't hurt to have people praying with you and for you. But at the end of the day, you got to be able to get to the throne room on your own. Because when people don't want to see you go or grow, they will try to hinder you. But in this season, it is so very important to have the spirit of discernment. And you need to have your discernment so intuitive to God that you will know when a person is telling you something of their flesh versus of God. Because no matter how saved a person is, people still will tell you stuff from their flesh. Please do not let church hurt block your blessings. Don't let it run you away from the church, then you just be out of the church, and then you say, well, I ain't got to be in nobody's building to praise God. You right. You don't. But it's always good to have a tribe around you to encourage you and keep you lifted up when you're going through the dark times and when you're going through storms. But again, I say, make sure you're careful about who you talk to. Because loose lips sink ships. And you have a lot of them in the church. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to front and make you feel like it's not. Because it is. That's why you have to be able to go to God for yourself. So you'll know when to make moves in silence, when to prepare and make preparations, when God gives you a vision, so that you can have everything in order. So when He does say, okay, I've put you here to elevate you. Now I need to do this with you, or now I need to do that with you. You need to make sure you're making the necessary preparations. Don't let out or anger build up inside of you towards the church or people because of what has been done or said. You don't even have to avenge yourself, because God will bring everything to the light, and He will avenge you. He let us know that vengeance is His. You don't have to always try to correct somebody, because a lie will soon wear itself out. It's like recently with me. I had a situation occur where I had to wind up being admitted in the hospital. But one thing about it, I know I got a prayer life. And I know I have a relationship with God. And to me, I don't let anybody take that away from me, because I work too hard to get to where I'm at. And I will never let anybody block my blessings. I'll go into the full testimony at another time. But this was an unexpected thing that I had been dealing with for a while, but not knowing the severity of it. But I thank God that I have a relationship with Him. Because when those people want to go into me a second time, and I knew I didn't want to be cut on the first time, when those people got ready to wheel me around the surgery, I began to cry and cry out to my Father and let him know I didn't want to be cut on again. And when that doctor came in, I asked the doctor, I said, look, I don't want to be cut on again. Can you please check again before you cut me? And he goes on to tell me that, I have to be under double anesthesia when they come out because, they have to take me on into surgery and everything. But I asked that doctor on my own accord to check again because my spirit wasn't sitting well with it. And if you know me, you know I don't like needles. I don't like hospitals. I don't like to be cut on. But to God be the glory that when they got through doing the test, he said, we know it was there. He said, I don't know if it passed through, disappeared, evaporated, or what. He said, but you made the right decision asking me to check again. And I thank God for that. That's why you got to have the spirit of discernment. And you got to make sure you always give God thanks and glory for everything that he does in your life. Because it's the simple things. Because for some, there may be a simple thing. They don't mind hospitals, needles, or whatever. To me, I'm not that girl. But I thank God how he gave me the spirit to ask them to look again. And I didn't wind up having to do that second surgery. And you know me, I'm a private person. So I'm very particular about who I ask to pray for me. Because some people can pray on you instead of praying for you. So, again, whatever you're dealing with, you take it to God in prayer first so God can give you who to have in your corner. It's one thing my bishop used to tell us, and God rest his soul, because that was one of the most upstanding men of God that I have ever met in my life. And he will openly rebuke or say what he need to say without being condescending or letting anyone run their members away. When God puts you in a place, no matter how big or small, just make sure you're under somebody's covering and don't get ran out of the church. Because having a covering is very important. It is. But just make sure that what you say is where it stays. I remember Bishop used to tell us, I'm not going to let nobody run my members away. Not my wife, not my family, not my children, nobody. He kept the house in order. And you best believe that if you talk to him about something, it didn't go no further. That's important to have in leadership. It's important that the head is the head. The shepherd is the shepherd. And you got to remember, when God started pouring the oil, it didn't stop at one person. It didn't stop in one place. The Bible let us know, so is the shepherd, so is the sheep. So the oil that flows in the house is going to trickle down to the sheep. because it's about kingdom building and building the kingdom. Not about being isolated or isolating someone out because they don't agree with you, or isolating people because they stand up to you or address issues or situations that they may be dealing with. Everybody needs to feel safe. Everybody needs to feel comfortable. And when this does not happen, this is what causes so much church hurt, so many people leaving, so many people staying lost or getting lost. You got to be able to stand 10 toes down on business. Don't let anybody snatch you out of where God placed you to elevate you. Praise them. Well, let me say it like this. Keep your praise and continue praising God, even in the midst of being hurt or what you're feeling or dealing with. Because your praise will break down barriers that your mouth or words can't. Continue serving God with everything in you. And don't let anybody take that away from you. I remember that I used to go to a church. Yes, today I'm taking my time with this because this is important. And it was a family church. Well, a lot of the members that were family. And the family thought that they were so important, that they were better than or above the other members because of who they were. And this was a time when I was married to a pastor. We had our own church. And the people were so condescending to the members because they felt like, because they were anointed or gifted, they had a right to talk to people how they wanted to, or say what they wanted to people because of who they were connected to. Let me tell you something. Don't you ever let anybody dumb you down or dim your light because of who they're connected to or what their last name is. Because that's a problem in a lot of churches today. Let your light so shine. Please, for the love of God, don't let nobody take your light from you. Because I had to tell my husband, I did not want to be associated with that church anymore. Because the husband I had at that time, he was a pastor. Apparently, God rested dead. And I'm not really just putting my mouth on him, but I'm going to tell the story. I'm going to tell the truth. See, in his mindset, he felt everybody was saved. When people that were in there just sowing discord and keeping a mess and drama and confusion. And I had to let him know, you got to remember, our children are not saved. So if people come sideways, guess what? Just because we can't say anything or do anything, we got children and family that will. But me, I was a person of peace. I didn't want to have to turn them loose on anybody. But because he was my husband, I still had to stick by him. And that was something that my pastor told me. But at the same time, dealing with all that church hurt, I was dying and crying on the inside. But I knew there was more. I knew there was better. I knew it would get greater later. I knew that God had something better for me. And he did. So I'm telling you, please don't let church hurt. Well, I'm going to call it people hurt. Situation hurt. Talk hurt. Don't let it move you out of position before it's time. Because I assure you, God will avenge you. Ask me how I know. Because some of the biggest name people that thought they were all that, a bag of chips with a snack on the side and cupcakes, God brought them down. He brought them down because he had to humble them and let them know that we are all servants. He just give people different positions and titles. But it's a lot of people walking around with positions and titles that still are not on their way to heaven. In their eyes they may be, because they see they can't do no wrong. They don't make mistakes. They don't hurt people. They don't say things out of turn. They don't lie. But we all know, being human and being upfront and honest, we all have fallen short of the glory. We all have sinned. Because we live in this natural flesh. And if anybody tell you that they are perfect, they are a lying wonder. A lying wonder. Because this flesh dies daily, and that's what the word says. The word tells us the flesh dies daily. So again, I tell you, don't let church hurt block your blessings. Keep your head up. You stand tall. Square your shoulders back and march on like a real true soldier. Because no matter where you at, you still a soldier in the army of the Lord. Long as you're growing and you're trying and you don't give up and you don't let people make you quit, you will eventually get to where God is taking you. Just don't let people make you quit. Don't let church hurt tear you down or make you stop. You keep pressing your way. You keep going. You keep growing and glowing. Because God looks at your heart. It's man that looks on the outer appearance. And people who think they got it all together, the judgmental ones, sometimes you just got to look past them. But please, for the love of God, don't make your move too soon and allow church hurt to block your blessings. Thank you for tuning in to Let's Talk About It. Somebody's got to say it. I'm your girl, Lavonda. Take care. Be thankful. Keep your head up. Keep a smile on your face. Never let them see you sweat. And don't walk or live in regret. God got you. God loves you, and I do too. Have a great day.